Hello, and welcome to Microbiology. What I wanted to do for a few minutes was to walk you through the Blackboard page to introduce you to the tools that will be available to you in Blackboard throughout the semester. The organization of this we'll cover as well, and then I'll just click through a few things to show you where everything is at. Um, so to start out, right now I have just a welcome page welcoming you to the course and telling you a little bit about myself. Eventually, the announcements will become the homepage for the course. I use the announcements frequently as a way to communicate outside of class and prefer to use this over email. Though announcements can be sent directly to your email if I choose for them to be sent there. But do check the announcements frequently as it will contain information maybe regarding assignments or issues that have come up that have been mentioned to me. Under Course Basics, you're going to find the syllabus for the course. You'll find a tentative schedule for the semester, a tentative lab schedule, also listing assignments that are due for lab, and then finally my schedule so that you can see when I'm available throughout the week. Also, it will note office hours for you too. Under Context, you'll see my information, the information of our lab manager, John Edmondson, and then whoever the course coach is at the time will be listed as well. The course coach is basically your first contact for if you need one-on-one or tutoring needs. In this semester, Julia is the course coach, and she'll also be holding weekly review sessions. Under due dates, you will see a calendar for the semester listing when you have different assignments due. And then you'll find under my grades, of course, your grades throughout the semester. I wanted to next walk you through some of the stuff that pertains to classes on lecture by lecture. Our first unit that we'll be covering this semester are general features of microbes, which we've listed here as Unit 1. And what you're going to find immediately when you click on this is all of the individual lectures that we'll be doing in this first unit that makes up the first exam. If you were to click on any of these, I'll just click on Lesson 2 here. What you're going to find is the general layout like this. You're going to find first the major objectives that we'll be covering in that class period. If you'd like to read the book, or sometimes there may be different readings from that aren't in the book, you'll see that listed here. Next, what you're going to find is a link to a mini lecture, and I am not going to launch this right now because I don't have access as a student to access it. But these are 10 to 15 minute short lectures that are designed to basically introduce you to the material that we're going to talk about in class. My plan is not to recap all the information in class. Actually, I'd rather you come with questions that you have about the information. Below that, you'll find the slides that are going to download automatically for you. And these will be the same slides that we use in the mini lecture, so they are yours to annotate as you would like. You may print them out or you may save them to your computer. You may find sometimes that these will contain additional slides that we won't cover in the mini lecture, but will be covered in class. I've listed terms that you should be able to define that will be covered in this particular lecture. Questions that you should be able to answer, and the guiding questions are ones that I feel given the mini lecture, you should be able to answer before you come to class. If you're unable to answer these are types of questions that you might want to bring up at the beginning of class. You'll note here that there's a number with each of these, and these actually refer back to the objectives. So for example, if you want to know whether you are succeeding in identifying the structure of building blocks and the macromolecules they form, you should be able to answer these two questions, the first two here. Next, what you're going to find is homework. There will be homework for each lecture or most lectures. These lectures may be these homework assignments may be a group homework assignment. They may be individual. They may be wikis, they may be journals, they may be draw an image and then copy and paste the image into Blackboard. But the assignments are going to range from 1 to 5 points, and can oftentimes will measure either your understanding of the material and or your participation. And I'll use a standard rubric to grade these. Finally, you're going to find review questions. And these are questions that I anticipate you'll be able to answer after we've covered this material in class. These are more challenging questions. Oftentimes are asking you to describe, explain, or perform some higher order thinking, like applying the information, comparing and contrasting, evaluating data and interpreting data. And this is ultimately where I would like you to be at the end of each of these lectures. Okay, so the other thing I wanted to point out here with these general features is that at the end you're going to find review questions. These are additional review questions for each of the individual areas that we're covering, macromolecules. You'll see that not only is there a document file, but also all the questions appear right here in Blackboard as well. Microbial structure and function. And finally, identification and classification of microbes and microbial metabolism. Some of the questions refer directly to questions within the book. Others are ones that I've written out. And again, note the number here indicates for you the objective that these refer back to. The other thing that you'll find in each of these units are practice exams, and you're going to find 2 practice exams and a key to one of those practice exams for you to do some self-assessment. Under the lab tab, you'll find the lab manual in both a smaller sized PDF file or a larger sized document file. Please do download these. You'll be expected to know the information for each lab coming into lab. Safety contracts, which we'll discuss in class, and then ultimately an assignment folder where you're going to find individual assignments and drop boxes for those assignments. Next, you'll see this weekly review tab. We'll discuss that later in class and the importance of this, but this will essentially be a review of each week's lectures. If ever you miss a class or you want to review one of the lectures that one of our class lectures, you can click on this Microbiology at Edgewood button right here, and it's going to take you to a YouTube site. And this YouTube site, I will upload the videos from class as we proceed throughout the semester. Finally, a couple of things that I wanted to point out in here. Some of this information are specifics that we'll come back to later, but there are ways to get to different assignments. If they are individual journals, you can go to My Reflections. If they are group wikis, you can click on Our Wiki and go to your group wiki page to type the information. Under questions and answers, this is a discussion board. And in this discussion board, you're going to see that we will have forums for each of the individual chapters that we're discussing in the book. Also for lab, and then an opportunity for you to ask me anything about the course or myself. These posts can be anonymous, although if you want to, you're more than welcome to include your name. Please use this as a way to communicate with me questions that you may have on individual lectures, because this will then allow for other people to view not only your question but my response. Oftentimes, other class members are going to have the same question. And then throughout the semester, you'll have an opportunity to provide me feedback, and you'll see those showing up here when the time comes. Finally, we have a couple of other tools down here, email to myself or others. There are tools to help you with Blackboard specifically, or in tutorials here, you're going to find some text and also some videos that describe some of the different features that we'll be using throughout the course. I do have Communicating Online and Microbiology. This is my view on some of the different features that we'll be using and how we're using them. For example, wikis, journals, voice threads, and screencasts. Online etiquette, how to communicate with individuals online in a proper manner. You'll see the Navigating Blackboard video that I am posting here. You'll also find a way to create meetings with me online without having to, by checking my schedule. And then additional information such as using VoiceThread, posting in VoiceThread, and then also throughout the semester you'll see some additions to data analysis, in particular how to use Excel for calculating, for performing statistical tests and for graphing. So I hope this has been informative to you and that you haven't gotten too bored looking through it. I do encourage you to take a look at this and peruse on your own before the beginning of the semester. And please do feel free to post any questions in the questions and answers in the Ask Anything when you're ready to do so. Take care, and I look forward to a great semester with you.